Hey, Dream Warriors! It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the Dream Warriors podcast countdown. Now, if you don't know what that is, I'll explain that in a second. But if you're new here to the podcast, here on Dream Warriors, we talk movies, pop culture, comic books, commentary on everything. Last episode was the Oscars. If you want to know a quick hot take on the Oscars, listen to that one. Listen to 117. But hey, today, right now, it's in the morning and it's snowing here in Philly. On Dream Warriors podcast, we're discussing a Netflix exclusive original movie. It's called Velvet Buzzsaw and is starring Jake Gyllenhaal. Well, I can never pronounce his name, but hey, let's have me stop talking. I'm doing the intro for too long, and let's just get to it. So the countdown. The countdown is about me. Earlier this year, hitting a wall. I hit a wall when it came to Dream Warriors podcast. What was that wall, right? A lot of people have been asking me. That wall essentially was just a moment of, it was an intersection of frustration and doubt. And I kind of went on a little bit of a binge and just said to myself, hey, Pete, why don't you really just change it up? You're trying to conform Dream Warriors into these other things. Let's change it. And we'll be talking about that next episode because we're counting down to episode 000. I like zeros. I can't even lead into how long that episode might be, or even give you intel on the nature of the episode. I have some notes, but I really wanted to sit down and not only be honest with all of you, but be honest with myself. That's right, yeah, be honest with with me, the guy looking back in the mirror, because I just view as if we're, even when we're doing things in life, if we're really not consistently trying to do something original and swing for the fences and just be better every single day, again, even if it's 1% every single day, in a year, that 1% adds up. Trust me. Dream Warriors needs to echo that. So, and it's a little bit of me. But holy crap, I don't know how to talk to you about this movie, about Velvet Buzzsaw. This is from the guy that did Nightcrawler, a movie that was just universally loved. I believe it was a 2017 movie. Nightcrawler came out. It was written and directed by Dane Gilroy. Dane Gilroy's been being credited. His credits go back to 1992 with the movie Free Jack. If you're not familiar with Free Jack either, I recommend Free Jack. Free Jack and Time Cop are a great pairing. It's Emilio Estevez and Jean-Claude Van Damme in those two separate movies, but that is a 1-2 90s time travel double feature, and which is kind of funny because I don't believe Emilio Estevez was around for much longer after that movie. His next big movie at that point was Mission Impossible, the first one starring Tom Cruise, and he just kind of faded away, and it's sad because Free Jack was okay, this guy can do action. And later, if guys like Ben Affleck could do action movies like Paycheck, hey, throw that one in there too. Throw in Paycheck as your third for those three movies. And kind of continue. I really don't believe there was any difference between Emilio Estevez and Ben Affleck during those two times of their careers. But Dan Gilroy is a story guy for some very underrated movies that just fly by the cynical heads that run. Look, everything right now happening with this Captain Marvel controversy and Rotten Tomatoes, it's 100%. There's something there. Where there's smoke, there's fire. It is a assault on criticism, 1,000%. Now, given that they're not removing reviews, they're just removing like the hype meter. But uh, having having all of our thoughts under one institution is very dangerous. And Dream Warriors is a contrarian point of view to where, hey, let's be a little bit more positive. Let's look for what's best and better in most of these movies, and be fair. Now, those precepts escape a lot of YouTubers. So, my work with Dream Warriors itself is a criticism of the cynicism. But moving forward, Dane Gilroy is rock and roll. Writer for Free Jack. 2 years later, writer for Chasers. 9 years later, writer for Two for the Money. Al Pacino, Matthew McConaughey. A great movie. I always enjoy it. I like movies where you kind of hustle, you bust your ass to make something. I'm always drawn to that. I'm not familiar with The Fall. Credited story guy for Real Steel. Writer for Bourne Legacy 2012. Kind of cool. Writer director 2 years later, Nightcrawler. Writer for Kong Skull Island. You could probably maybe credit him for a little bit of a universe building architecture, since that's what Kong Skull Island was setting up. Godzilla set it up too, but I'm sure he was in those conversations. Movie I never heard of. Roman J. Israel Esquire. This movie. Wait. I think I did. I did hear about this movie. This is a Denzel Washington movie. He wrote this movie. Wrote and directed. Oh, geez. So he follows up Nightcrawler with I think two films that just didn't hit it out of the park. He definitely understands actors, characters, and acting. Dane Gilroy, for this, especially for this movie too, comes off as a writer director who's taking extensive acting classes and has spent time on stage, because he understands characters so well and understands almost like the tics of an actor. He knows what to tell them to get performances to go into a certain direction. I saw this in Nightcrawler. I saw it in Velvet Buzzsaw. Jake Gyllenhaal is today's premier actor next to Ryan Gosling. After this movie, Jake Gyllenhaal is above Ryan Gosling, only because Ryan Gosling is just doing something different. He's just doing something different. Jake Gyllenhaal at least is doing characters, and he's the focal point of movies, and he has an amazing body. Hey, that matters. They both have good bodies, but it's to the point that what Gyllenhaal is doing is definitely more tangible. We can hold it with our hands. So yeah, of course. It's important. It's important to see these two guys go. I haven't seen The First Man. Now, it's no secret that I'm not a huge patriotic dude. I'm red-blooded American over here. That doesn't mean there's like these other things that I don't like, politically. No, I do believe in inclusion. I do believe, like feminists, like all of that. I believe in understanding the plights of all of that, of the entire spectrum. I think do those grounding beliefs have a fanatical edge that enables people for harassment? Yeah, 1,000%. And I do feel like a lot of that too also goes to the far spectrum. I think it kind of goes both ways. Like when we get very left and very right of center. But with that being said, I'm not sure, but I kind of lost my train of thought there. But with that being said, like the First Man's criticism of the American flag, it did turn me off. So, either way, this movie is good and bad equally. I was watching this movie with a female. Life lesson here coming up. Yeah, I watched the movie with a female. Every woman you meet, you do not have to have sex with. Isn't that a amazing thought? You don't. You can have female friends and have them be a part of your life and do girl things with them. My sister is so far away from me. She's a good 45, probably like 55-minute drive. We'll just call it an hour. My sister's an hour away. My sister and I always have like reflective, emotional, fun moments, and so some of these female friends of mine fill that void. Like just me being close to a female. Now, have I had sex with someone? Yes, I've had sex with some of them. Some of them I haven't. It doesn't even matter. It really doesn't. Sometimes sex just happens because wine, wine and alcohol. But so I watched this movie with a female. That's the point I'm getting at. And along the way, she asked me, would I recommend this movie? Because I was very clear on wanting to do it for Dream Warriors as we were watching it. Just because I was digging it. I was waiting for the hook. I was waiting for like some of those revelations to come through. And I said, I don't know if I would recommend this movie to the general audience. Because we're dealing with a narrative that takes place in the art world. Now, I believe movies should have two objectives: educate and be exciting. Now, exciting doesn't mean Will Ferrell like screaming into the camera. Okay, exciting could be a engaging narrative, an engaging story. This movie definitely hits the education pin right on. The exciting part is where the movie starts to crumble because we have a lot of characters. I mean, a lot. And these characters are all played by people we've seen before. And everyone is a character. This is an actor character movie. Okay? Now, along the way, we have this plot of a haunted canvas. So this is almost like, again, going back to Hard Candy from the 31 Days of Dread. This is a hard candy that completely overjumps the concept, okay? And doesn't explain much. But the concept is that someone gets a hold of these paintings, and once they're immediately seen, they're desirable. Okay, they're the greatest paintings ever. But if you profit from them, you die. And the guy who painted these paintings just, I guess, randomly dies in the movie. He was in the process of destroying them, and left almost like a will to destroy the paintings. A woman, thinking that she's found the next Picasso, brings him to an art gallery, and then the dying ensues. Now that is a very it's a very intelligent, highbrow concept for a murder story, and that's really what this is. Okay, we have a bunch of characters, and people are going to die one by one. I believe this movie is unique in that there's very few movies, period, that's in this setting. I kept getting ideas that this was almost like a horror version of 6 Degrees of Separation, because I love the art world and the society of 6 Degrees of Separation. I'm so drawn to that movie because of it. I just think it's just so well done. A movie stage play. I have yet to see the stage play. Yeah, and along the way, I just got pulled out of this movie a little bit just because I couldn't follow the hook. Nor was there much of one. The explanation just wasn't really there to why things were happening, and I didn't feel at any point that any of these people were going to survive. So I was like, okay, like this is going to be another movie where everyone dies, and we'll kind of have like a perfect landing. The ending is going to stick its landing, which is exactly how this movie wrapped up. Again, perfect ending for this movie. The perfect last like 10 minutes. Awesome. Um, but along the way, it's like the nature of these deaths and how some of these characters are dying are it's reflective of art itself, and this is where the movie does need to be viewed at least like one more time by myself, because the deaths in this movie are reflective to things that some of these people are drawn to art wise. Like it's like their taste or their rejection, or what they're not accepting. And like, and it does kind of become like a mirror being held up to itself. Now, those concepts are there. Like just talking to you, I can smell them, I can see them, but that doesn't mean that the movie sells it when you first see it. So there's maybe like two positions I like to take with movies. Like where are you when you first see it? Where are you when you study it? Because it takes a while sometimes to study a movie. People who can study a movie and mentally record things in one session, great. I think some people go in with a methodology and they make the movie fit into wedges so they can explain things away. Yeah, I think that's a part of it too. That's a part of like theory and analysis. I enjoy going in fresh every single time when I watch a movie, even though I may know the beats, to pick up something new, to see something else. And this movie definitely invites that. This movie definitely invites multiple viewings. And this is maybe why it could have been appealing to Netflix, because it is almost like stream worthy. Like going to pay, for this movie in a theater, having to even like go out and purchase like a Blu-ray, it definitely, like adds to the cost of consumption. This movie does, the streaming nature of Netflix, the nature of Netflix alone lends itself to movies like this. I kind of want to say it was a little bit like a thriller version of the Cloverfield paradox in that movie too, because Cloverfield paradox could have been sprinkled with more abstract and far out science fiction just through dialogue and exposition, no special effects, to make you want to watch that movie 100 more times. And I feel like when it comes to Netflix, that should be a little bit of the objective when it comes to the curation of the content. It should be like, oh, how many times can people watch this movie? How many times are they going to watch it? Is there anything in this movie to enable our audience to constantly consume it? And with that being said, like I would say, great, this is a perfect Netflix movie. Because again, we have some of the best actors working today in Hollywood. Everyone here is somewhat like a character actor. They're interpreting something. They've invented something in front of us. And for that, I would say, yeah, like it's great to watch it and rewatch this movie again and again. But on first viewing, I believe this movie does fail. But I just want to say it could hold up through time. But look, everyone. I know it's a shorter episode, but I'm literally talking to you. It's like 6:30 a.m. and the same day that this is dropping. This is Friday, March 1st, 2019. Holla March. Yeah. So so with all of that being said, hey, get ready. Big announcement next episode. I'll explain everything. I love all of you. And hey, find me on Twitter at AKAPAD so we can chit chat. And on most and just about all social media except for TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. But rock and roll. Have a great day. Get ready for the weekend. And if you're in Philly, break out the salt and start shoveling.